Hi, welcome to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. And once again, we have a joint venture here. It's the Maryland National Classic Hoops, Maryland National Hoop Classic. And it's a joint venture between the Prince George County School. We got the Director of Athletics here, got Mr. Smith from the Black Chamber, and then we have the old guy here. He comes on all the time, all kinds of classics. Petey Green. Petey, welcome to the show. Boy, you guys are always doing something positive for Prince George's County, and here's another classic that you're involved in. You got Mr. Smith there. He's treasurer of the Black Chamber. You got Mr. Hawkins here. He's director of the athletic department of Prince George County School. Now, this is beautiful, and I like to commend you all, both the school and the Black Chamber, for bringing this classic here. Give us some information about this classic, Petey. How did you get involved in it and get Mr. Hawkins in it?
Well, thank you, Ed, for bringing on the Black Chamber and the Prince George's County Public School Athletic Association to be on your show to talk about the Maryland National Hoops Classic. I was contacted by Mr. Hawkins. I am joined today by Mr. Earl Hawkins, who is the Director of Athletics for Prince George's County Public Schools, right, and Mr. Maynard Smith, who is our Treasurer for the Prince George's Black Chamber. Yeah, he does. But I was contacted by Mr. Hawkins with this idea of supporting him and the association in a annual hoops tournament. I had contact with Mr. Hawkins a few years before when he was sending kids to Japan to play in a baseball tournament, and he asked for my help, and so it was a no-brainer that I would reach out and get the chamber involved to help him achieve some of his goals. When we talked about why, the chamber has this as one of its objectives as community enrichment. The school system wants to make sure that we expand Prince George County Public Schools across the nation, and at the same time raise money for things like artificial turf for football fields and baseball fields. So it's an opportunity for us to give back, an opportunity to help our kids, and at the same time expand on Prince George's County being the hotbed for basketball across this nation.
Great. Okay. Mr. Hawkins, tell us, how did you come up with this idea with going around the country? I mean, it's not just a local thing to get Prince George's County on the map.
Yes, well, we've always had good basketball program in Prince George's County and other programs as well, football, track, you name it. Prince George's County Public Schools puts out a good product. Several years ago, the Sports Illustrated put out an article where they deemed that Prince George's County was the hotbed of basketball.
Is that right?
Yes, because of the number of basketball.
Congratulations, guys.
Well, congratulations to all of us.
That's what I mean.
From Prince George's County. Well, anyway, we had the top pick in the draft like 2 straight years in the NBA draft. Also,
and who were they?
Michael Beasley and Kevin Durant. Were the 2,
Durant.
yes.
Yeah.
But we've had tons of players from Prince George's County play in the NBA. Mm-hmm. And right now we have Delonte West, we have Sam Young from Friendly High School, and I could keep going.
Right.
I don't want to name too many names, I'll forget
might leave somebody out.
But there are a ton of them who are currently playing in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have a bunch of NFL players and some other track athletes that are out there in the professional realm. So it was just a no-brainer. And Mr. Ed Myers, who worked at Georgetown for years and helped build a dynasty with Coach John Thompson there. It was also a dream of his for us to try and put something together. So teaming with the Black Chamber of Commerce was a no-brainer. It was something we had to do to get this underway.
Okay. Mr. Smith, you were telling us something about your involvement. Give us a little breakdown on it.
Well, my involvement stems from being actually the treasurer of the event itself. Last year we did well. We were successful. We broke even last year. And this year, of course, we want to make a lot of money with this tournament to help with Prince George's County Public Schools with the athletic fields, et cetera. So I managed actually the financing of the program, as well as I'm sort of the logistics guy, which is I coordinate the day-to-day of the event. And again, everything went perfect last year. It was a great event, and I will continue to do that this year. So that's my involvement.
What about the schools that were involved last year? Name some of them.
Yes, Dr. Henry Wise High School in Upper Marlboro. Matter of fact, that's where the tournament's being held. We have a 5,000-seater gymnasium there, and it's a great facility. Gwynn Park High School is going to participate this year, which is in Brandywine, Maryland. We have Bowie High School right here in Bowie. It's going to take part this year. We have Archbishop Carroll from Washington, D.C. is going to participate this year. We have Vance High School out of Charlotte, North Carolina is also committed to come.
Is that right?
Yes, and we are.
So this is a regional classic.
Yes, and matter of fact, last year we had Herbert Hoover out of San Diego, with one of the top centers in the country, played here. And we also had Raleigh Egypt High School out of Memphis, I'm sorry, not Memphis. Yeah, they are Memphis, Tennessee. They also participated,
Well,
so we are.
That's a good place,
Yes.
Memphis, Tennessee. That's where I was born.
Oh, okay. You be congratulated. Because they were an excellent team and they won the tournament. So
Right.
they won the
They won the
Yes, they
tournament.
did.
Oh,
They-
man.
Yes, they won
That's
the
even
tournament.
greater.
Now, so we are looking to have a tournament where we bring in some of the top schools from around the country to play against the schools that are in the Washington metropolitan area and specifically Prince George's County.
Great. Now, how do a youngster qualify? You
Well-
know, in track, you don't have qualifications and things of that nature. What's the procedure for that? You can't just go out and say, well, I want to play.
Right. Well, basically what we do is we look to see who are some of the top teams in the country. The Prep Stars and the different magazines put out a list of top schools and who has top prospects, and we look at that and we try to get those teams to come here. And it's not a hard sell. Prince George's County and the Washington metropolitan area has an awful lot to offer. A lot of people have not been able to get here, and students love to come. And so that's how we pick the teams. And the local teams, we try and change them, every few years we'll choose different teams. Dr. Henry Wise, being the whole school, has played the last 2
Well, you have
years.
a board of directors. How do you go about making the local selection?
Well, basically, Dr. Henry Wise, since it's their school, we're going to keep them in it this year and last year. The other schools, we have people approach us. Gwynn Park has been in the state tournament the last several years, been a very good team, and they approached us about playing. And the committee, we have a committee, Petey Maynard, myself, and a couple of other gentlemen,
that's what
Mr.
I
Ed
wanna hear.
Myers.
Right.
And we sit down and we work out, whether we want these teams or not, and then we send out invitations.
And what are your requirements? Are there any academic requirements?
Well, they have to meet the standards of their local school system. And in Prince George's County, of course, our students cannot play unless they have a 2.0 with no failing grades each quarter.
Right. Well,
which
that's
is-
what the youngsters need to know, is that, you just don't play basketball. You got to have the academics go
Right.
along with it
Right.
in order to participate.
That's absolutely correct, and we want these young people to have this as a stage where college coaches can come see them and they can get scholarships. Last year we had
Good.
University of
Now.
Virginia was here. We had John Thompson III from Georgetown was here watching our games, and a number
that
of other
right?
college coaches,
Is that
yes, that
right?
were all here watching the tournament.
And how long does the tournament last?
It's a 3-day tournament, 8 teams. So it's a 3-day tournament, 8 teams, yes. It's 28th, 29th, and 30th of December 2010.
Okay, you have 8 teams.
8 teams.
that participating.
Yes.
And this is all male.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we have an all-male tournament, and we will have, this year for the first time, we're having a junior high school portion as well that'll start in the morning, and we'll have 2 boys teams, 2 girls teams. And there is another tournament for the girls already. There really wasn't a need. The IBO Board 134, which is the officials group, has a
think
girls
about
tournament.
the young ladies too.
Yes, so they have a tournament that's been going on for years, so this is something new for the boys because the girls have already had an established tournament.
So and when you say established, they do it yearly?
Yes, they have one every year. Used to be held
What is that,
every-
around the country?
Well, yes, they have teams they bring in from out of the area as well, not as many. Most of them are local teams from the state of Maryland, but they play at Charles Herbert Flowers High School, and that's been going on probably over 20 years. The girls have had a tournament.
20 years?
Yes.
No
It used to be
kidding.
at Prince George's Community College,
And-
but they
and-
outgrew that, and now they've gone on to
You
Charles
being
Flowers.
director of athletics now, how do the youngsters find out about this, young ladies?
Well, basically, over time, the girls' tournament, has a reputation. So they have a waiting list for the
waiting
officials
list?
group to get into the tournament. And a lot of times they
Wow.
go on what teams won the state from the year before. and then those teams are invited. And we plan to do the same thing. I mean, we've had calls from Rhode Island, we had a call from Connecticut, we had a call from Florida, teams trying to get in. And so, you know, who are interested. So
it's nationwide.
That's what we hope and trying to build, and we, you know, hope that one day we'll have a real waiting list for teams trying to play in this tournament.
I see. Now, Petey, the involvement of the chamber, do you all get involved in job seeking or anything of that nature of the players that participate, or just what other involvement do you have in the tournament side?
Well,
making money.
Well, it transcends making money because it's all about the children. And what we are trying to do, we're trying to get sponsors. Get our business community to sponsor our kids. Hopefully we can develop relationships between sponsors and kids. Hopefully we can develop mentoring programs, opportunities for kids to come and shadow business owners sometime just to see what's the day-to-day life is like in a business community. All of those tools will help sharpen our kids for future. You know, a lot of these kids are playing in the tournament aren't even eligible for working to work yet in the county. But what we do, we make sure that they get as much exposure as they can through the basketball venue, and then hopefully we can get businesses to sponsor our children, and at the same time, kids who can't, unfortunate enough, who can't get to the game will also get sponsored by a business entity.
So the idea is to get the business world involved in it, also monetarily.
Get the community at large involved. And that's our businesses. That's our parents, because you know it's more than just dropping your kid off. Yeah. Parents need to come and share that experience with their kids. So we don't want you to drop them off. Come and buy a ticket. Somebody else may sponsor your kid, but you can buy a ticket yourself to come in and spend the day to watch these games, because they're exciting games.
Well, what about getting the parent involved? I think that in most projects, the parent react like you're saying. This is a good thing, me drop them off and I can do my thing. I think they blame the school system, they blame the politicians and all, but I think this whole problem that we have in the school is because the parents are not participating like they should. They blame the system in the school for the problems, but they raise that child 4, 5, 6 years before they even hit public school.
Well,
see, so they have to get involved because they have a more effect on that child than any teacher or principal or politician can.
For sure.
Yeah. So what do you think about Mr. Hawkins getting maybe a group of parents volunteer that would work with your group to stabilize these young men?
Well, we're always open for parent involvement, and that's something that we always are open for and really would relish.
Yes.
And we will do everything we can to make sure that parents are aware of the tournament, aware of the activities. We are going to hopefully put into, as a piece of the tournament, I would say seminars in the morning
a seminar
for the students.
PD, getting the parents involved in the fundraising, going out and getting sponsors for their child. You see what I mean? Because a parent, that's something that they can do. They say, well, Jack, he's going to play in this classic and everything, and we're looking for sponsors. That would be a way that the parent could get involved and you raise funds for the classic also.
Well, we welcome all of those avenues to help us achieve the goals that we set for ourselves.